I'm a pack rat. I save things. I thought I saved actually more things than I've actually got, but I've got quite a collection of original art and some of the early pieces that we did. I came to Albuquerque, actually the Albuquerque area, Rio Rancho specifically, in January 1970. Brought my family here because I had a job with the oldest and largest printer in New Mexico. They had hired me to be their graphic designer from the big city, Chicago. And probably within the first week or two, I met Charlie Blaney. He was the general manager of the Albuquerque Dodgers with Del Crandall, who was the manager. I was awed when I saw Del Crandall because I grew up in Chicago, was a big Milwaukee Brave fan. I was almost speechless when I met him. I thought that was the best thing that ever happened to me, you know. Charlie and I hit it off right away. He realized I was a sports fan. So we started hanging out together. In fact, we'd go out and shag flies and such over at the ballpark. And he realized, after seeing some of my sketches, that I was probably the right man as far as he was concerned to do the logo design. When we did the sketches, he was intimately involved in it. I mean, I would do a series of sketches, and then we would talk about it and then develop it from there. And the first two jobs I ever did for Charlie were these two program covers, 1970 and 1971. And so along about 1972, the Dodgers decided to bring their AAA farm team to Albuquerque from Spokane, Washington. And at the time, Charlie thought that it would be the Dodgers. It would be the Albuquerque Dodgers AAA farm team, Los Angeles Dodgers. But a couple of the sports writers from the newspapers, namely the Journal and the Tribune, they decided that since there was some history years ago having to do with the Dukes team here, before it got named the Dodgers, that they thought that Charlie ought to name it the Dukes. So Charlie, thinking that there's no way the public would want the Dukes name after being associated with the Dodgers for so many years, he says, okay, we'll run a contest. And the contest was for several weeks, and that's an ad I did for it, actually. It says, name your team contest. And it was overwhelming that the Dukes won out over the Dodgers. And so Charlie was stunned. The LA Dodgers were stunned. Charlie said, I got to do this. He says, we ran the contest, and so that's how I got involved in the Dukes logo. When I moved here and I first saw the Zia symbol, I thought, oh wow, that's a great symbol. I'm going to use that in some artwork, you know. And then everybody says, everybody uses that. I had no idea what the Zia symbol was, you know, at the time. So yeah, being new to the area, it was not the easiest thing to come up with something that was appropriate for their logo. But I think after doing a little research on it, I realized that we're on the right track, I think. Rather than just a design of an emblem or something, we've decided that we wanted to have a conquistador head, and that's where it took off from that point. And the colors, he wanted something colorful. He didn't want the Dodger blue. He wanted to have something in contrast to that. So that's how we ended up, I believe, with the red and the orange theme. Some of these are the original sketches. You can see that the plume is different. I was experimenting with some Dukes type. He looks pretty much like the final, but we don't have the Zia with the A. That was one. Here's another one with kind of a swashy looking plume, and got a D for instead of Zia with an A. There's another one with some. But these are the kind of sketches I would sit at the drawing board and just knock these out, and then develop them from there. Look at that plume. That was something that I thought might fly, but here we got the A on the cap now. No Zia, but we have the A. And here's another one with some Dukes type that we may have ended up doing. And this one here was a sketch, and you can see it's been circled. That was the plume that Charlie liked. But look at it, it's funny, I had a baseball for the head. And that didn't go over very well, I guess, but he liked that plume. That's the one he's... And here's one that was really stylized. That had more of a, let's say, more contemporary look that you might see today if someone were to be doing this, with a symmetrical look to it. And this is getting closer to what we finally ended up with, and here's some of Charlie's notes. He says, we like the logo except round off the Duke's nose a little, make a puffier plume, add the Zia and the A to his helmet. And that was probably the last instructions I had before we ended up with the final design. And that was the letterhead at that time.